Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Blessings to you. I am your brother. I am Apostle Steve Lane, and I was born Stephen. And it is about 4:31 today, being March 17th, 2022. I think yesterday I said 21, but 2022. Today is day 17 of my 21 days of prayer walking. Today, I want to, as I'm heading to the lake right now, and I hope that everyone will be able to hear me because I got to figure out what is that sound in. Something is going on underneath, but underneath the car, so I'm going to have to get it checked out. But at any rate, I decided to do something different, and I want to talk and give some details about what I have entitled My Journey to South Africa and Beyond. So, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about it, and I got to go all the way back. I got to go back to 2019. And the reason why I have to go back to 2019 is because um, I was at uh, a Friday actual service, almost like a type of Bible study, but it was really more of a service. And there was an apostle. Oh, somebody is being pulled over. And so there was a service, and I attended it, and it was just in a small room at this particular church, and this apostle, shout out to Apostle Felix, um, he called me out, and many of you know what that means. If you're at a service, the prophet may point to you and ask you to stand up. Well, it was a small room, so even though I stood up, um, he came over to me and he said, "I see you going to Africa," and I had been to Ghana in 2017. That was based on my ancestry DNA. So I went to Ghana. My daughter Stephanie and we went along with two other people, and we ended up going there and ministering, even though that was one of a number of countries where my ancestors, obviously, if you're African American, there's a good chance that you probably would find your African ancestry within you. So he called me out, and he was saying a number of things, but I did not even realize that he had said what I'm about to tell you. He said, until I heard the message again, the Holy Spirit told me, find that message that you received in 2019. And so this was, I want to say, 2021. The Holy Spirit said, find that message and listen to the message. And in that message, in which he was speaking to me, and I'll tell you, he probably spoke to me maybe 35 minutes. It was almost as if the whole service in which he was prophesying to me and a couple of others, but particularly me, probably about 35 minutes he was speaking to me. But he said, look at South Africa. Look at South Africa. Look at South Africa. And he said that to me 4 times. Well, I did not remember that he said that to me until I re-listened to that message. That's another reason why, if someone gives you a prophetic word, you need to record it. Make sure you record what they're saying, because you're not going to remember everything. And then when you listen to it, you re-listen to it again, then you're going to realize, wow, I forgot that, he or she had said that. And so I one thing I did remember is South Africa was not on my radar at all, because my thinking was, oh, I am not going to go to a country in which we got to deal with racism and prejudice and all of that. If I got to deal with that here in America, why would I want to go to South Africa? Because South Africa is remembered for the apartheid. I said, why would I want to go there? And that was my thinking. So therefore, I didn't even, he said, look at South Africa, but I probably had dismissed it when he had said it, because I was not going to South Africa. Well, for some reason, the Lord was directing me to go to Africa. As I said, I went to Ghana. I went to Kenya. I went to Nigeria. And I began looking at YouTube and especially looking at Americans that had left the U.S. and they had gone to these different countries, and they were talking about the different countries, and that piqued my interest. So it piqued my interest. Blessings to you, Sister Amanda, and it's Sister Martha. Blessings to you. And so I was like wondering, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? But the Holy Spirit told me to also look up South Africa. So, in obedience, I went on YouTube and I was looking at these different countries. I looked at Uganda. I was thinking I was going to go to Uganda. There were people that were going to Nairobi, Kenya. I'm sorry, it's dark in here. Nairobi, Kenya. Although I visited Nigeria, I wasn't necessarily thinking that I would move there. Although I visited Ghana, and by the way, in 2019, they had the year of return in Uganda, in which you can get your citizenship very quickly. They were saying, the president of Uganda was saying to the diaspora, the diaspora is Black people all over the world. And so they said the year of return, come back home, meaning come to Africa. And as you know, by the way, the continent of Africa used to be one country until different parts of Africa were divided up, and now we have 54 different countries, because there were people from other countries that came and took over. And I forgot the year. There's a year, and it's called something. I just don't remember it. But what they did was in this Berlin something, in which they came and they divided up Africa. We're going to take this part. We're going to take that part. So the French, they took parts of Africa. The British, and by the way, the British, they really played a part in what they've done, not just in Africa, but even particularly some of the islands. But okay, I don't want to digress too much. But when you start learning about the history, the history of these countries, It is amazing what they've done. Okay, I digress. And so I, I was thinking about Uganda and particularly, Black Americans that had gone to these countries, and they were giving great information. They were letting people know, hey, this is what you're going to expect. You know, such as and I don't remember who it was, but he did a great YouTube, and he was saying, hey, expect the lights to go out. Expect that one day you may wake up and there is no water. You may not have lights for days, or sometimes the lights go off for several hours. And so for us as Americans, we're not used to that at all. But what they were saying, blessings to you, Sister Retta. But what they were saying is, hey, expect this, to happen. Now I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and I could possibly get a pushback on this, but and I'm especially going to talk to Black Americans that have gone to these African countries, and now they report on YouTube, and they talk about what the country is like, and all of that. Now this is where I'm going to get the possible pushback. And the pushback is that you don't tell the whole truth. You don't tell the whole truth. You glorify that particular country. And listen, the country may be a great country, but you don't tell the whole truth. You don't talk about how as soon as sometimes, let me say it, sometimes you don't talk about how as soon as they hear our American accents, the prices go up. You get charged a higher price, So sometimes they do say that, but a lot of times, that is not told. Now, when I went to Ghana and I went to Nigeria, when I went to Kenya, I was very fortunate because I knew ministers. They went with us everywhere we went. They spoke for us in the language. So this way we weren't taken advantage of, and that was very important. I have a Facebook ministry called Community of Believers Global Ministries. Little did I know that when the Lord said, create this ministry, Community of Believers Global Ministry, little did I know that I would have representatives from about 7 to 9 countries in Africa. And I can say that we've developed a relationship, talking, ministering. I'm able to go to their countries, and it's great. Blessings, Sister Denise. And it's great. The reason why it's great is because I have a contact. When I go, I have a contact person. So that is what's great, But a lot of times, Black Americans that went to these countries, maybe they felt, oh, I don't want to say anything bad about the country because I'm living here and I don't want a backlash, for saying it. For really telling the bad side. So let's talk about the good side and put the smile on our face. Let me tell you something. Listen, there are people that when I went to South Africa back in May of last year, and I said, yeah, I'm really considering moving here. And they were like, why would you want to move here? Why would you want to leave America and move here? Well, I was saying, why would you want to come to America, especially now? Especially now. Now, listen, America, listen, we are very fortunate. We are very fortunate here in America. We're fortunate with just the roads, The roads are nice and smooth, just like in South Africa. In the other countries, you got to prepare for that bumpy road, dirt roads. I remember being in one country, and there were like no stop signs. So someone coming from a side street, there was like no stop sign at all, and just kind of took note of that. But let me just kind of wrap up that part. Listen, I just say, just tell the truth. Tell the truth. Most Africans do not realize that Black Americans only represent 13% of the population. 13% is a small percentage. Now, the Hispanics have taken over in second place now, a population. They may be at 13%, but they're like at a higher 13%. One of the things that is now known, and when I give this information, some people are like, that's not true, because the media hides it from them. But by the time my daughter, who is by the time my granddaughter is about 8 years, who is 8 years old, by the time she is 28, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but whites will be the minority, and some people are saying around 2040, 2045. In America, they are going to be the minority, especially with different people from different countries that are coming over. And by the way, white people are immigrants to this country also. So for you Caucasians that act like this is your country and only your country, remember, you are also immigrants to this country. So don't get it twisted, and don't forget that your whether you are Italian, whether you are Irish, when you guys came to this country, you caught it the same way that blacks catch it. So don't forget that too. And you want to keep other people out of quote unquote your country. And your forefathers went through the same thing, the same kind of prejudice, that some of you are putting other immigrants through. Okay, I think I digressed again. All right, so let's go back to. Let me just jump on. Let me just jump on that. One of the things that. Let me just jump back what I was saying. One of the things that people, especially African Americans that have gone to other countries. One of the things that they say, like part of the advice that they give is they say, if you're coming to this country to look for a job, they'll tell you, that is literally impossible to do. You need to come. First of all, a lot of the countries, such as South Africa, they want to know, okay, Mr. Lane, you want to come here, you have to sustain yourself. So I have to prove to them that I have enough of an income to sustain myself. They expect me in South Africa to have literally double the amount that the average South African makes. So the average South African makes, well, I've seen different figures. The average South African makes anywhere from maybe $800 to $1,200 a month. They want me to make 2 to 3 times that amount, and I have to prove to them that That is my monthly income. So when I'm talking about my journey to South Africa, these are some of the things that it entails. Right now, I'm working with an agency in South Africa, immigration. So it's not like the government part, it's an agency. And they help you to gather. They tell me, hey, you got to have this, and that. When you collect it, send it to us so that we can make sure it is in order. I'm jumping far ahead. When all of my paperwork is in order, I have to have a medical. I have to have a medical report. I have to get a chest X-ray. I have to show that that is done. Um, Again, I have to show them that I make a certain amount that, because they don't want me. I don't even think they have government programs, but they don't want me coming to South Africa and being poor on the streets. So I have to show that my insurance that I have, it is not accepted in South Africa. So therefore, I am in the process of researching the different insurance companies that I got to pay out of my pocket, for insurance. Now, also, in terms of my journey to South Africa, I have to show the government, okay, they want to know, where are you going to be staying when you arrive? Where are you going to be staying? And you either show us a lease, you show us something in writing from Airbnb, or a person. Now, this is where, thank God for the Community of Believers Global Ministries, because there's probably about five people in South Africa that thank God, will be able to help me. I already know where I'm going to be staying. So now, what I will need is, I'm going to need a letter from the person. The person has to include their photo ID, where they are staying, and they have to write that, yes, when Steve Lane comes, he's going to be staying with us, and I think, don't hold me to this, and I could be wrong, but I think I have to at least show that for like 3 months, because when I go to South Africa, what I have to do is I have to establish credit again, because some people may say, wow, this is great. I don't have to bring my bad credit over there. Yes, so I have to reestablish credit. I have to open up a bank account. Another thing that has really helped me is, there's a brother Gregory. Shout out to you, brother Gregory, because brother Gregory has helped me so much. He has helped me so much. He's in South Africa for a number of years. He has been a tremendous help. Whenever I have a question, I ask him. And so he has learned, about the cultures. There's different cultures in South Africa. So he's learned about it, has really, really helped me a great deal. My sisters and brothers, the Lord said to me, he said, that he is sending me to Africa. I didn't know what part. That's why I was doing the research. Okay, what part will I live in and move to, and areas like that. And I'm going to tell you this: if you are on a retirement, if you're on Social Security, and I'm going to repeat what I've heard. Um, you probably will do better than 80% of all Africans, 54 countries, because our American dollar goes a lot further. Um, it fluctuates every day, but let me give you an example. For every $1 American, you're going to get $14.47. It fluctuates between $14.40, $15.60. It fluctuates back and forth. But for every dollar they're going to give you 14, 15, $15. Let me give you an example. Excuse me. Where I am going to be staying in South Africa, I'm going to be staying in the where the capital, Pretoria is where I is where I'm going to be staying. And this is even more exciting. Where I'm going to be staying is going to be right down the street from the U.S. Embassy. My sisters and brothers, the bigger picture, and I know I'm talking a long time here, but the bigger picture is God is in this. God he's opening up doors. He's connecting me with people. When I come here, and I'm at the lake right now, when I come here, part of my prayer, besides praying for us, praying for people, and I've seen people get their financial breakthrough. I've seen favor. I've seen where God's people had received favor, and it just strengthens me to see, when I join people and they say, "Hey, pray for me for this, pray for me for that." And listen, there are times in which I'm like, "Ooh, wow, that is a challenging prayer," but I have learned that no matter how challenging it is to us, it is not a challenge to the Lord. You've heard me say this before. What I have learned is, okay, don't expect always a quick fix, a quick answer, a quick door to open. You may have to go around in circles and circle it again. Okay, circle it again. Okay, keep circling it again. Okay, come back tomorrow and circle the lake again. Okay, come back the next day and circle it again. My sisters and brothers, I'm being tested in this 21 days of prayer walking. I heard the Lord, Stephen, you go to that lake and you prayer walk. Well, the first time I only went around one time because I had not walked. Number one, I needed a new boot. Thank God for that favor. The structure of my foot has shifted, and because bones were taken out, I had to pray, Lord, let my foot sustain my weight, because Father, wherever you send me, I want to be able to walk, because in Africa, depending on the country, they walk and walk and walk. They do a whole lot of walking, more walking than we are used to, unless you're a person that's just a part of your daily exercise. And so the other part of my journey to South Africa is I needed to be completely healed, 100% healed. I don't want to leave this country until my foot is 100% healed. And so I think the last time I said it's probably about 93% healed. They now put a type of dermagraft, which is like a material to help promote the skin growth. And the doctors, every Friday I go to the wound care, and they're like, "Wow, it is looking great." And I can feel the strength of my foot only in the boot. I have to wear the boot. So to God be the glory on that. I'm bringing that up because that's part of my journey to South Africa. Because now I'm asking the Lord, okay, Lord, thank you. I know where I'm going to be staying, so thank the Lord. I thank the Lord for that I know where I'm going to be staying. That's the Lord. listen, I got to get my finances in order. And so what I mean by that is I, um, e- even though, you establish a new credit, um, before I leave, I want to know that I have my finances in order, that I'm out of debt. That's why a couple of days ago, while I I got an unexpected expense. I just did not expect it. And I got an unexpected expense that's going to take me like 3 years to pay off. That was not in my budget. That was not in the plan. So because I'm walking at this lake, I am just asking, okay, Lord, give me strategy. Give me strategy. And the Lord has begun already speaking strategy to me. There's some things that I have that I'm going to call up a couple of companies and say, I'm canceling that. I'm going to cancel. It's not a lot of money, but when you add it up and you add it up, I need to be at that expense at the place that, okay, I have this 36-month payment that I'm going to have to make. I was not expecting that at all. I wasn't expecting it. And so, yeah, I need the strategies. Again, believe it or not, I am talking about my journey to South Africa because I want to be debt free. Now, also in my journey to South Africa, I have learned from Americans that have gone there. Number one, I'm keeping my citizenship. I'm not giving up my U.S. citizenship. Another thing that is interesting is I'm keeping my American bank accounts. Also, I'm keeping my American bank accounts. Thank you, Sister Denise. I'm keeping my American bank accounts. This is why, because as you know, we most of you probably have a Visa, a debit card. Well, Visa and MasterCard are accepted like all over the world as long as you have, you have it. And now with the chip, I didn't even realize this. With the chip, um, it helps. When I went to South Africa and I was there 30 days, 26 days, I was at the Marriott hotel, and I used my American Express, to be able to pay for 26 days. Actually, I should really say for 22 days because 4 of those days I was in a public hospital. So I'm going to keep my account, and what I'll just simply do is maybe have money transferred. I got to learn a little bit more about it. But what I've heard is as long as I have my passport, then I'll be able to open up an account. Now, if I wanted to just hop on a plane and go to South Africa, I don't have to get a visa. I don't have to get a visa. Now, I'm going to use this word because this is the word that I'm hearing. The privilege of being, I'm going to say it 2 ways. The privilege of being an American in another country. Yes, there are countries that hate America. All right. The privilege of being an American in other countries, but then there is even a greater privilege of being a Black American in an African country, because these countries, and I was like, why a Black American? You look at us as foreigners, and you'll go to some place and they'll say, welcome home, welcome home. But because, yes, I'm going to have to bring up race for the point of just the educational part of this, because the Africans, Black Africans, are so used to seeing white people come to their country. So now to see a Black American, and by the way, they think that we're rich anyway, because in America, little do they know. But to see a Black American come, that is something that they're just not used to seeing. So they really want to sit down and ask questions and things like that. And also, they've heard about a lot of them saw what happened to George Floyd, so they do get media. A lot of them are afraid. They are afraid for their sons, especially, and depending on, in Africa, to come to America because, they've seen black males, especially, getting shot by the police. And so there is a fear. A lot of mothers have a fear of their children or their sons coming to America because they're afraid of what will happen to their son. So so by going to these different countries, I'm able to get a perception or learn a perception as to how they feel. Pastor Elizabeth, blessings to you. Pastor Elizabeth, I like some of those things that you are posting on your page, and I'm almost like, yes, exactly. Some of the things that you post, I'm like, I feel the same way. Oh, by the way, everyone, Pastor Elizabeth, let me tell you, she's a pastor, she's an evangelist, she's a very sought after speaker in her country of Kenya. Just very in terms involves in women's ministry. She's a powerful preacher. Just very, very powerful. I'm honored to know Pastor Elizabeth. And a prayer warrior also. So, to God be the glory. So, yes. So in my journey to South Africa, if I were to hop on a plane and go, I would automatically, in South Africa, I'm automatically granted 90 days stay. I don't need a visa. I need my passport. I have to show them that I had the COVID test. And let me tell you, they're very strict. In a lot of these African countries, I'm going to say this. This entitlement here in America, oh, I don't have to wear a mask, that's against my rights and things like that. You try that in Africa and see where that's going to get you, and there's almost like a type of arrogance among some Americans, oh, I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that, I know my rights, all of these things, and they got politicians on their side. Go ahead and try some of that mess in some of these African countries and see if your posterior, okay, I don't remember the second word that goes to that. See if you're not in jail. See if they don't take you and put you 2 weeks quarantine somewhere. See if you don't get a fine, right then and there. So there's a type of arrogance in America that it is not tolerated, and it will not be tolerated in these other African countries. I was speaking to one pastor, and what she was saying is, even if you just step out, let's say you step out of your apartment, your house, and you just go to the car. You want to go and get something out of the car, and you don't have your mask on because all you're doing is just going to your car. And the police are passing by as you are going to your car without your mask. You will get stopped. You will get fined right then and there. In South Africa, when you're on the streets, you have to wear your mask. You go to quote unquote Walmart, let's say, they're going to spray your hands, before you go in. Even in schools, the kids line up, depending on what country, they line up, and the kids have to have their mask on. They spray their hands also. Let me say a news break. People are still catching COVID in America. As much as You and I may be the minorities. I go into whether Walmart, I go into Dollar Tree or Family Dollar, and I'm going in there, and I'm like the one. I'm probably 5 to 10% of people wearing masks. One day I was like, "Is COVID over in South Carolina?" So there's a somewhat of an arrogance in this country, and what I'm just saying is, you try playing that arrogance in other African countries, and you're going to see where it's going to get you real quick. Okay, so they have curfew levels. I remember hearing about one Black American. He was in Uganda. Curfew was 9 p.m. and he was out past 9 p.m. And it's not like I mean, they do have the police, but sometimes they have like the military. And so he told his story. He was in Uganda. It was past 9 o'clock. And so he realized it was past 9 o'clock and he was still out trying to get home. And he said the soldier called him over. They put that boy in jail for 6 weeks. He was in jail for 6 weeks. His wife was pregnant. They had to get in touch with the embassy, and finally he was released, but after 6 weeks. Why? Because he broke the curfew. Because because of that, he broke the curfew. He told his story because he was saying, "Hey, don't play. Don't come here with this American mindset. Not in this country." So let me just try recapping, because I went out to the ocean and swam around the ocean, out there in the ocean, telling all the stories. So in terms of my journey to South Africa, I've asked the Lord, I'm asking for healing in the name of Jesus, so that my foot can sustain my weight, since I don't have as many bones in my foot, and the Lord has done that. The immigration agency, they said to me, your visa is going to expire next year in 2023. We recommend that before you start your process, get your visa renewed. And so, I went to renew. I said visa, but my passport. I went to renew my passport, and they said it would take 8 to 11 weeks to renew the passport. And I was like, "Lord, can you just do it quickly?" And in 2 weeks, I got my passport back, and it has been extended for 10 years. Talk about my journey to South Africa. So I want the healing. Now I'm starting to turn in the paperwork into the immigration agency. It's a slow process. It's a very slow process, because I have to get doctor's appointments. I got to get x-rays. I need radiology to sign off on the paper. I need my doctor to sign off on the medical reports. So it's a slow process. Then once all the paperwork is in order, I have to make an appointment with a South Africa embassy in Washington, D.C. I have to then fly to Washington, D.C. They are going to verify all of my paperwork. It takes about 6 weeks to get it approved. First, I got to gather all the paperwork, but then when that appointment is made, I'm going to ask the Lord, Lord, speed up that process of the approval. Now, I said if I were to get on a plane and go, I would get a 90-day visa. Boom. American passport, okay, we automatically give you 90 days. In other countries, um, you need a visa. Visa can cost you $50. It can cost you $100. It can cost you more. But in South Africa, if you're coming from America, they'll just stamp it 90 days. And really, they kind of say stay about 88 days just in case your flight gets delayed. Because if your flight gets canceled, and now you're past the 90 days, you have overstayed your stay and you cannot come back for 10 years. For 10 years. Now, you can appeal it, but for 10 years, you cannot come back to South Africa. It's probably the case in other countries also. Sometimes what people do is they'll leave and they may stay out for a couple of weeks and then they come back and it starts the 90-day process over again. I am applying for a retirement visa. So my retirement visa is going to be good for 4 years, and I just renew it every 4 years. So that's the route that I'm going. The only problem is it is more extensive. It's a more extensive paperwork. The other part of my journey to South Africa is I'm the executor over my mother's property. And I'm honoring her will. My brothers and sisters and everyone, they've been so patient. So I have to sell her house, So once I turn in my paperwork, and especially once I get the approval, then the house is going to go on the market. Everyone is telling me that the house is going to go fast. There are people who have told me the first day the house went for sale, it was already under contract. So what I'm, thinking about, and this is where I'm praying for strategy and everything. And by the way, people have said that they sold everything. They said they just sold everything. They gave things away. They recommend just when you come to South Africa, just start all over in terms of furniture. One guy even said, don't even try shipping your cars over to these countries because, with corruption, they will charge you a higher price to get your car back, with the customs. And someone recently told me, and sometimes all they take is cash. That's all they want, cash. Don't come with a credit card. They want the cash. So I'm going to end up selling my car. I'd like to sell it. That's what my plans are to do, is to sell my car. So that is part of it. With the retirement visa to South Africa, I can come back and forth as many times as I want. As you know, I have my granddaughters and I have my daughters here. So yes, there are times I want to be able to come back and forth. I want to continue my education. And so I need to know that I will be able to take my courses online. Right now, we learn by Zoom, but in terms of by the time my classes start, sometimes it's 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning in South Africa. So the other thing that I have to do is I have to get high speed internet service when I move into this apartment. And I'm staying with a family there. So they're going to kind of benefit because they can't afford these things on their own. But they like the idea that they're going to benefit from, me coming there, because obviously I have to, I want to continue my studies. Now, I think, so did I kind of cover my journey? So yeah, I have to sell my house. I want to be out of debt, or at least close to being out of debt when I go to South Africa. I have to reestablish credit. After 4 years, then I can request residency. I kind of don't always know the difference between the residency, but I can claim residency status. So that's why I'm going for the retirement visa, because I don't have to worry about the 90 days. I will be able to stay for 4 years upon that approval. I'm also asking, I want to volunteer to occupy my time. So I'm looking for things to do to volunteer. I so I'm asking the Lord for strategy, for continued doors, that the Lord will open up the doors. Financially, I want to be pretty independent, because I do want to fly to Kenya. I do want to fly to Uganda. I do want to fly to Zambia. I do want to visit Zimbabwe. Um, and there's just so many other countries. Ethiopia, I know someone in Ethiopia, and the person said, "Oh, you could stay with me." I probably will maybe stay at a hotel in Ethiopia, but I want to visit these places. But my sisters and brothers, there is a kingdom assignment. So out of everything that I said, there's a kingdom assignment, there's a kingdom purpose for me coming to the continent of Africa. There's a kingdom purpose and a kingdom assignment. And that's what I'm asking the Lord for. And that's what I'm asking the Lord to open up the doors for me. I've heard that they are building apartments. The apartments, they have the swimming pool. They have workout gyms. They even have restaurants. In these apartment building. One person who is from LA, she's a retired Los Angeles police officer, and she pays $680 a month for her 2 bedroom. Where I'm going to be assisting the family, we have a 3.5 bedroom, and the rent is $571 for a 3.5 bedroom. They have security there. It's only right that I assist them. I was actually like saying, "Oh, I hope to get a 3.5 bedroom, so this way people can come in and visit." And plus, one of my rooms would be my study room, my YouTube, Facebook room. Um, but I'm assisting. I am assisting there, and then I will see where I will go from there. So I think I talked about it all. I got to get my own medical insurance. I can open up a bank account. From what I understand, they charge you for everything at the bank account. Whether you're inquiring about your balance, they're charging you. Whether you're I don't understand this. If you're depositing money, they charge you. If you take out money, they charge you. So I don't understand that. Let me say this: when I went to South Africa, I sent the family. It's like going to a check cashing. So I sent them 1,500 American dollars, because I'm there for a month, and I'm thinking, okay, 1,500, that should help. Well, 1,500, remember, 1,500, the average South African makes anywhere from $600 to $800 to $1,200 a month. And I'm sending 1,500, dollars. And I'm just going to call it a check cashing place, because y'all understand that. They put the sister through the ringer. They wanted to know, where's this money coming from? Even though I was standing, even though I was there, and she turned and she said, from this gentleman, he's the one that sent it. They wanted it verified. I didn't even think of this, because very seldom do people get that amount of money. And there's a lot of scams going on. There's a lot of money laundering going on. So the check cashing place, they wanted to know, 1,500 came out to almost 22, came out to 21,000 21,000 South African money. I mean, it was like this much, it was like this high, in the money. I didn't know. I'm just thinking 1,500 should last me 30 days, maybe more than enough, and go sightseeing and everything. So what I now know I have to do is kind of send it in increments, like send $300, and then maybe send another $300, because they're just not used to seeing people getting that amount of money. And they wanted to know, is this a scam? And it took them, she had to wait. They didn't even want to talk. They didn't even ask to talk to me, They checked her out. They wanted more information from her. Her daughter had to come with some paperwork, and then maybe after 20 minutes, they released, the money to her. And it was a lot of money. So yeah, I'll just have to keep that in mind the next time. Okay, so I've talked and talked and talked, and I'm going to do another video following this. And since I'm here at the lake, so I'm going to do one specifically for day 17 of 17 days. So this is going to be put on my my YouTube page, my journey to South Africa. So I'm making it for my YouTube page. I have someone that she'll take it, and then she'll just add some additions to it for the YouTube page. So that is it. Thank y'all so much for letting me talk your ears off. And I am going to just do another video following this. And to God be the glory. Okay, blessings to each and every one of you. I am your brother. I am Apostle Steve Lane, but I was born Stephen. And we have to keep in mind that as soon as they hear as soon as they hear your English accent, they like you because they know that you're an American. They think that you got money, so you're going to be charged a higher price. But South Africa is just like living in America. It's like just like it. They have so many malls, restaurants. But I want to see the different sides to South Africa. Okay, be blessed, everyone. Thank y'all again for hanging in there. To God be the glory. And stay tuned for my prayer walk, what I'm going to share about that. Okay, God bless each and every one of you. Amen.